Hi, I'm Laura Miolla from Moxie Life Coach. As a divorce coach and mediator, I help you save big money in divorce, as well as provide the emotional, legal, and financial support you need to make better decisions in this process. In this week's episode of What You Don't Know About Divorce Will Cost You, I'm tackling the subject of love. And my motivation for that comes actually from my clients. So I have several clients who have really wrestled when I've asked them the question, what is love for you? What is your definition of love? So think about that for a minute. What's your definition of love? One of my clients couldn't answer it at all, besides the fact that it's an emotion. And one of my clients recently actually did define it in such a way that it really struck me and prompted this specific topic. And what she had said is that her definition of love is that love is selfless and sacrificing. Selfless and sacrificing. So how many of you think love is selfless and sacrificing? Because as a coach, and certainly as a divorce coach, I think that definition harms more relationships and marriages than almost anything else. I wouldn't define love as selfless and sacrificing. I define love as authentic. And what I mean by that, and what I said to her was, so how can there be love if you're selfless, which means you're not there? You are not there. You have to be there. So my view is the opposite. I believe that love is an abundance of you. It's an abundance of your authentic self. And it's appreciation of that abundance. That is love. That's you loving yourself, loving the abundance of you and what makes you you. And that's what you receive from other people when they love and appreciate that abundance of who you really are. How did we get to a point in our society where love meant sacrifice? What are we trying to sacrifice? What are we trying to prove? Why do we need to prove anything? Love doesn't come with requirements. Love is about unconditional appreciation and acceptance. Barbara Fredrickson writes a lot about love from a neurophysiological perspective. And she writes about it as being an emotion, but also connection. She calls it positivity resonance. Having resonance, positive resonance with someone doesn't come with requirements. It doesn't say what you have to be or what you should be. It appreciates who you are already. It's not about what you do. It's about being who you're being authentic. And when you're in love with yourself, it does not mean you're a narcissist. It means you have unconditional appreciation and acceptance for who you are. I think narcissists go further on the ego path to make them narcissists. So we can clearly separate them from being able to love who you are. So my clients have said a couple things about love. It has to be selfless, it has to be sacrificing, and that if we love ourselves, that's selfish. Okay, well, if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you if you can't love yourself? If you don't see your value, your inherent value, and if you don't love who you are, how can you show that to the world? So defining it as selfless is minimizing. It's saying, I'm going to minimize myself. I am going to become less than so I can put you on a pedestal. That's the sacrifice. I am going to sacrifice myself and become less so that I can raise you up. Well, number one, why is that sacrifice necessary? Why is it your responsibility to raise them up? Don't you trust and respect them enough that they can raise themselves up? They don't need you to do that. They probably actually want to see you and connect with you on the same level. But now you've minimized yourself, you've put them on a pedestal. And for what? So you'll never see eye to eye. You can't now. So love is the opposite. Love is about being there in abundance and being seen, not minimized. It's about allowing yourself, your true self, to be seen and actually trusting and respecting yourself and the other person. It's saying, I trust and respect you enough to see me. I'm giving you the gift of my authenticity because I trust and respect you. And I'm seeing you. You see me, I see you. We see eye to eye. We resonate with each other. Love doesn't require anyone to be minimized. That's the opposite of love. That's obligation. That's responsibility. That's control. That's manipulation. Love isn't any of those things. You know, love is free. And it's about what you freely give in a relationship. I wrote an article that I'm very proud of, and it's based on my most wonderful, awesome post-divorce relationship, you know, finding the love of my life after all these years, because I was at a place where I could love myself to allow that to come back to me. I don't think I would have ever found him or him to find me if I hadn't been in a place of such self-love and acceptance. And the article I wrote, based on what I've learned, is about the different words we say at different points in a relationship. When you first meet someone, it's I want you. There's something about them that you're attracted to that you want. When you get to a committed phase with that person, you say I love you. I am committed to you. And most people stop with I love you. But that's not the end. I think the most beautiful thing you can say to a person is, I choose you. I choose you. That's beautiful. It says, I have choice. There is freedom here. I choose you because I appreciate you. I trust you. I respect you. I love you. But I choose you. It's present. It's intentional. Love is present and intentional, but sometimes we say the words and it gets turned into or tangled into other things that we think it means. We don't need to overcomplicate anything. Love is simple. Love is being there. It's showing up. It's being seen. It's trusting someone with who you are. And it doesn't mean you trust everybody. No, they have to earn it. That's part of the self-love. If you want to love me, you have to earn it. Because I love myself so much. I will not minimize myself for anyone who doesn't give me what I give them on the same level. So think about that in your relationships. Think about want versus love versus choice. What are you choosing? Where are you showing up with your authentic self in your relationships? Where are you respecting the other person enough and trusting them enough to say, this is who I am? I'm not perfect and you're not perfect either. We love each other because of our imperfections. but love allows me to show up in that way. It's never about sacrifice. It's about what's freely given. So think about that in your relationships. I have a lot of videos and writing about this topic, kind of around the topic, which is why I wanted to address it directly, because it is something that I hear in all of my client discussions, and it's also something I had to define for myself a long time ago. So I hope you find that useful. Please feel free to use the free resources on my website. Schedule a consultation with me. I'd be happy to talk to you about it in your life. My consultations are free, they're confidential, and there's no strings attached. But explore my website for all the resources that could be helpful in your life. Send me feedback at Laura@MoxieLifeCoach, and speak your truth even when your voice shakes.